Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to VTP Stage 2 Online Technical Tuesday Coaching Call 186 for 24th of March 2026. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying this volatility in the markets. If not trading it, at least just watching, seeing how markets are swinging left, right, and centre based on what's going on in the world at the moment. As always, you're very welcome here. Just remember that you are responsible for your own trading decisions. For those of you who want on stage two, want to move on to stage three, there is a special offer there until the 1st of April, the last few sort of days of March in Q1. Okay, if you want to get a special offer for access to stage two, the next stage of about intraday trading, well, you can do that. It's reduced to £99 until 1st of April, and you can do that using that QR code or the Bitly code, or just ping me if you want to have a chat about it. Here we go. Yeah, STAM hasn't changed, but interestingly, if we just look here, from where we had real clarity, look at now, it's all bunching up. All right, everybody's scratching their head, everybody's working out. All right, what the hell's going on? Where are we going? What are the scores and the doors? And we still have Kiwi dollar and Japanese yen is weak. All right, that's that's what it's telling us at the moment. Okay, let's look at let's have a little look at a dollar holler. So I'm going to put these all on here. I was watching it on the intraday. There was a little trade on Kiwi there for me this morning and stuff. Stage three pack man, and here we go. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's look as always at the start with the dollar index. Dollar index. We saw the big rallies. Okay, risk off rallies last week was an inside bar, inside bar at the 100 number. This week, it's a bit high wave. That reflects what's going on. But remember, this is a weekly candle, right? We're only into Tuesday. That's got a long way to go. The daily chart, though, and I said this yesterday, is that, it's the daily chart. We had that great run up to 100. And then, what I look at is that, it's kind of a double top there. Second leg is an engulfing candle. It's a key reversal candle. And then yesterday's candle in the end was a kind of a supporting, I'd kind of be calling that like a bearish rejection candle, bearish pin bar. What I'd be interested in is watching this 20 period moving average. Okay. It has acted. Okay. It's got flipped there. But as always, you've got PO20 going on. And my case would be looking at, does it pop up before it drops down back into that kind of 95, into the 200 and the 50 there. Okay, that's what my view is at the moment. If we continue to get de-escalatory moves and talk, I think that's where we go. If Iran just goes a bit mad and starts firing off at everybody else, well then dollar fires that way. Okay, so what I think Iran might, if there you go, I'm just spitballing here. If Iran had any sense, what they would do is they would stop attacking other countries in the Persian Gulf, all right? Stop attacking their kind of Arab allies and just focus anything they've got just on firing it against the Israelis. And I think that's, if they were to do that, then I think it would buy them time, right? We would buy them time with their neighbors, all right? It would buy them time with their neighbors. But I think already last week, when they were launching against, Bahrain and Qatar and Saudi, etc., it was annoying their neighbours, and their neighbours were getting close to sort of wading in as well. I will be interested to see whether they learn from that and whether that carries on. But anyway, dollar index, yeah, that's the candle there from yesterday morning from the Trump comments. Okay, and I would plow it away down and I would just, 1 hour chart, if someone pumped up there, okay, I'm sure you've read plenty about it, market manipulation, and then it dropped. And I was looking here last night, I thought, well, are we going to carry on? But actually, we had a little bit of a bop, but we're not, really, if you look at that, the Asian and the London session, we've been in kind of a bit of a range. Everyone's scratching their heads, waiting to get some more clarity, waiting for a catalyst. Maybe the American PMI numbers will help with that, perhaps. The reality is people are waiting for an update from Trump to see whether whether there is actually anything to really to talk about there. That's what people are going to look at. If you look at the flip side of dollar index, well, you've got euro dollar in the same way. Kind of dollar index bounced off 100 and put in bearish engulfing candles and key reversals and pin bars. Look at that. Euro's done the same. Okay, it is basically put in I would call this more of a higher low, which was also a bullish engulfing candle, bullish key reversal candle, and then yesterday we've got a bullish rejection candle, a bullish pin bar. It's closing above the 8, the 20, etc. It does look a little bit like a bear flag. Okay, so what I need to see is once again is I wonder whether we get a little drift back in and then push up to the sort of 200 and the 50 there. That's what I'd be intrigued to sort of to see if that plays out over the next few days. That's just my scenario analysis of that. If we look a little bit quickly elsewhere, we're going to look at Kiwi and Aussie in a moment. But if we look at yen, dollar yen, I mean, dollar yen has been in a aggressive trend, okay, on both the daily, but particularly on the 4-hour chart, which we've talked about on the dollar edge session. And that was nice move. But what we've got there here is um, you know what we had here. Let me just zoom in. This is it's a bullish rejection candle, but as always, I want to see these here, right? At the end of a trend, it starts to tell me think that it's like it's the Egypts, all right? Now, in this case, expect what that was probably the pump before the kind of the Trump dump, dollar risk on, kind of basically falling away. Now we're just kind of into that, we're into that malaise where everybody's just trying to work out what on earth's going on. So, yeah, that was that yesterday. Okay, it was just basically work its way up, and then that's the hourly chart, and then it's dropped its way down. But yeah, as I said, the um, you know, daily candles like that, bullish engulfing candles at the end of an uptrend. I'm normally a bit like very wary of them. If anything, it's a kind of a reversal signal, all right, because it's a bullish engulfing candle. They should be coming here at the end of this downtrend. When they're coming at the end of a trend, it's normally like it's the last people to a party, all right, and you never want to be the last person to a party, do you? All the best drink, all the best girls, all the best fun's being had. All right, okay. You're just sort of stumbling in at the end of the party. Never any good of it, and it's the same with markets. It's literally the same with markets there.